Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So today I thought I would catch you up on all of my charity donations I have managed to get done for January. If you have been here a little while, you will know that one of the biggest goals I have for myself this year is to do more charitable donations and do as many of them as I can. I get such a warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that my yarn is going to somebody who needs it, who appreciates it, and it will help them in some way rather than languishing in my gorgeous stash or my gorgeous scrap bin not being used. It's being used, it's being loved, it's being appreciated, and it's often given to those that can't do it for themselves and don't have the means for themselves. So predominantly my charities of focus this year are two that are based in the UK, but they are joined, they are linked, they're kind of the same thing, just slightly different, and one that is slightly further afield but closer than the US. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. I will try and explain a little about these charities as we go along. So let's just make a start. So I have been supporting these UK charities for most of last year, and I'm obviously carrying on into this year. They are UK based, although they are up in the north of the UK, whereas I am in the southwest. It is Needles, Hooks, Angels, and Premies, or NHAP for short. It is just one lady who receives everybody's donations, packages them up, and sends them out to where they are needed. Now, there are so many things that people can make to send in and help various people. I just handpick those items that I know that I can contribute towards, that I can get done, and that are not too pressurizing. They're not big projects. And to be honest, the ones that I'm going to show you today have been amazing scrap busters for me. And my scrap bin, guys, is absolutely overflowing. So the fact that I have managed to get quite a bit of scrap out of my stash is amazing. Now, they do put up monthly challenges just to say that, we're running a bit low on this sort of thing. Is anyone able to help? And January's challenge were 12-inch squares. It could be any square. They just thought that if we could do some 12-inch squares for them, it would really help. What they're going to do is when they receive the squares, they will put them together themselves in headquarters. And you guys know that I love making squares, but I'm not so keen on putting them together. So this really did pique my interest, and it made me feel like it is something that I could definitely get on board with. I decided to make 12-inch squares just because, the numbers sounded nice, and I thought that was, a nice chunk of a donation to give. Now, they are going to want these all year long, but it was a specific challenge for January because they are running low. Now, when they put these squares together into blankets, they will be going to various places. It could be to people in nursing homes, people who are in hospice, the homeless maybe. I'm not entirely sure on everyone that they give these blankets to, but I do know that whoever receives them is going to really appreciate it, because not only is it the person that made the squares that helped, it's the person putting the squares together. So it is a joint effort to get as many people what they need as possible. So I decided to go with the traditional granny squares. I love making granny squares and I can whip them up pretty quickly, and I thought that would be the best pattern to use so that I could get the 12 that I wanted to get done. So I did use just out of my scrap bin for this. There are some weird and wonderful colour combinations. The only rules were not colours that were too dark. I hope I have picked colours that fit that. There are some darker tones, but they're not like super dark, so I'm hoping that they'll be okay. And I knew that I had some quite big chunky scraps that would be really good for this. So I'm going to show you, and as I show you, I will tell you what projects these came from if I can. Okay, so here's the first one. This was made using leftover yarn from the fairy dust blanket. And then number 2 was more fairy dust blanket yarn. Same for number 3. And number 4. And number 5. And number 6. And number 7. And then 7 is where the fairy dust yarn ran out, and then I picked another scrap to border. Okay, and then number 8. Now this yarn, am I showing you the right way? I'm not entirely sure. Nope. This yarn is leftover yarn from the cat's meow. So is this one. So is this one. So is this one. And then the center of this one is leftover yarn from the cat's meow. And then the majority of the square is another scrap that I had in my stash. So I'll count in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I did do the 12 that I wanted. So I am super pleased about that. Oh, don't fall off the table. Okay, I saved them. And for these, I used, let me just open up this notions pouch. For these, I did use predominantly my 6mm dots. But when I was playing Yarn Chicken to get to the end of the row, I did go down to a 5.5 just to make those stitches smaller and reach to the corner. So either a 6mm or 5.5mm dots. And for this scrappy project, because when I put my scraps in my scrap bin, I keep the labels with them, because you may know that I do keep my yarn ball bands for the year, and I count them all up at the end of the year. Now, I can only include the labels when every single bit of that yarn ball is used. So I keep the label with my scraps, and then when the scrap gets used, I get to put it into my label stash. So how many labels did I manage to get out of my scrap bin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just doing those 12-inch granny squares for charity, I have managed to claim back 8 yarn bands, which means 8 quite sizable scraps were used. So 8 skeins were finally completed, and I now have the yarn bands for my labels total for the year. So that is another winner chicken dinner in my opinion. So I am just going to tidy up a little bit before we move on. But yes, I shall be sending those to NHAP this week because I want to get them in time for the end of January. So I'm going to pop all of that behind you off camera. Now, let me just take a little sip of my cup of tea and we will move on to the next bit. Okay, now the next bit is the sister part of NHAP, or like an extension of NHAP, and it is Hearts Healing Hearts. If you've been here a while, you will know that I was doing this last year and I really enjoyed it. Hearts Healing Hearts is where they ask for pairs of hearts. Now, these could be knit, these could be crocheted, they could be sewn, they could be quilted. However you wanted to make these hearts was absolutely fine. They don't like them to be any more than 4 inches across, I believe. And they prefer lighter colours. And this month they specifically requested mint green, blue, pink and peach. Now, I've done pink, I've done some blue, I've done some mint green, but I didn't have any peach scraps that I've put to one side to make these hearts. So I have done a couple of white and a couple of lilac. They will take any colour as long as it is a light colour. But out of the 4 requested colours, I've managed to give them a few of 3 of those colours. The reason why they are crocheted in pairs is because they are given to people in various situations again. It could be people in nursing homes, so you can't be with them all the time and you're quite restricted on visitation. Could be people in hospital, again, not with each other all the time, restricted by visitation. People in hospice who sadly probably will never come back home, and again, visitation is limited. Then they also give them to funeral parlours, so that one can go with the deceased loved one in the coffin and one can remain with the family. So they are forever connected, even after death, forevermore, which is sad. Some might say morbid. I think it's beautiful that that family still has that precious connection with their loved one, even though their loved one is no longer with them on this earth, through that crochet heart, because the other one went with them as well. So I love this idea. They are so quick and easy to make. Again, you can use pretty much any heart pattern that you like. Yeah, so I decided to make as many of the hearts as I could before the end of January as well. I packaged them up in groups of 4 pairs, and I've got 10 packages. So I have managed to make 40 hearts for Hearts Healing Hearts this month. So I will go through them. That is a pink. It's looking brown on camera. That's not correct. It is pink. Then I have some lavender. That is not the correct colour either. Clearly my camera hates me today. That's okay. Then we have a paler lilac. Wow, that is looking blue. It is not. It is lilac. Then we have some sparkly mint green. Again, not quite accurate, but you know. Then we have some like turquoisey blue. We then have a mix of a different mint green and a different blue. We have some more of the pale lilac. We have some more sparkly mint green, and this yarn was the boucle style green, so they do look completely different if you compare them. but it's fun. And again, it used up a lot of scraps for me. And these are the last 2 packets as well. So yes, 40 pairs of hearts going to Hearts Healing Hearts. These will be posted to the exact same address as the 12-inch granny squares, because it is the same lady that gathers them together and sends them to where they are most needed. And we can never keep up with demand for these hearts, guys. They are forever going to need them. They are forever going to be wanted. So I will keep up with this for as long as I possibly can. You know, as long as I've got yarn, which is never going to be a problem. As long as I've got time, that is a little bit more tricky. But they are so quick, you can kind of do them. I can do a heart in about 3 minutes, so the pair just over 5 minutes. So, you know, it is one of those, and you can pick it up, put it down. You don't have to like solely focus on it. You can like do it whenever is convenient to you. Now for the hearts, I used a 5mm clover, and I did manage to claim one label, and this was the turquoisey blue. It was a Stylecraft special, so I used the remnants of that colour. So that's the 9th label that I've managed to claim back for this donation project rundown. I still have a bag of scraps that I pulled in the colours that were requested. These are going to go back into the bigger bag, because when I started making the hearts and I knew they wanted the paler colours, I did go through my scrap bin, and in a big kind of reusable shopping bag, I put all of the suitable lighter colours, all different colours, in this big shopping bag. And then because I knew the colours most needed this time, that they were running low on the most, I just pulled whatever I had in those colours and put in this bag. So these will go back into the reusable shopping bag. I will wait to see what colours are specifically needed for February, see if I've got any scraps that suit. If not, I'm just going to make hearts of whatever colours I do have, because they'll take hearts in any colours as long as they are not too dark. And they are so grateful for as many hearts as we can give them, because like I said, they are always, you know, inundated for requests for them. We can never keep up with demand. And even though certain colours are obviously lower in stock, they will take whatever colours and however many you can get done. So if I don't have the colours for Feb, that's fine. I'm still going to make them. And I am going to try as best I can without putting too much pressure on myself, because my other goal was not too much stress and pressure. I am going to try and see if I can get at least 40 pairs a month. If it's slightly under, if I go over, it's fine. Like I said, it's just a rough figure that I want to aim for. So I'm going to put my 5mm dots back in my notions pouch. I will put these scraps back into the bigger bag of scraps, and I will pull the next lot in February. So yes, 40 pairs of hearts. So that is awesome. Like I said, they are going to go in the same package together. They have also asked if people have yarn in their stash that they wouldn't mind donating, because they also do raffles within the groups that they've got on Facebook to raise funds for like postage of all these items. So I've said that I do have quite an extensive stash, that I will go through my stash and I will pull a few skeins that I am happy to donate and be a prize for somebody in the Facebook group. So I will include those donated skeins of yarns in the package when I send it at the end of this week. So that is the charity donations for the UK charities that I'm supporting. Now, there's one other charity that I'm supporting, and these aren't complete, nowhere near finished, but I have made a massive, massive start on what I want to do. This will be at least 2 blankets for Christina over at Bella Uncinetto. If you are not familiar with Christina, I will put her channel link down below. Go and check her out. She is fabulous. She is one of my bestest best friends. I love her to absolute bits and pieces. And she is taking donations of baby blankets because she works on a military base over in Sicily. It's a US military base. And there is a group of women on that base that are trying to put together hampers for new mums who are living on that base for the new babbas that come along. So they are requesting, handmade baby items to go in the hampers. I'm going to focus on blankets because A, they are huge stash busters. B, if you've seen my huge knitting network yarn haul, that's what the majority of that yarn was bought for. Who isn't going to love a handmade blanket for their brand new baby? So I will be sending baby blankets to Christina throughout the year. What I am focusing on right now is making enough squares of a particular design for 2 blankets, and I think I'm going to send them to Christina in batches of 2 just so that shipping isn't so expensive. I can spread the cost a little bit, and she isn't absolutely undated with huge boxes of blankets coming in, because she might have to store them for a little bit before she gives them to Lady. I'm not quite sure how that works. So yeah, I think I'm going to concentrate on sending them 2 at a time. And the way I'm doing this, I am going to have at least 2 once I've finished making the squares. Now, if you go back to when I was talking, I don't know, about 15 minutes ago about how I love making squares but not joining them together, the first 2 blankets that Manfa is making for Christina is a squares blanket where I need to connect squares together. Yeah, I'll do it because I love her. It's absolutely fine. I have made 4 additional of these squares, but they are not going to be featured and they have been sent elsewhere for something uber secret and uber special. And that is all I'm going to say about that before I get myself into trouble. So there were 4 more than what I'm going to show you, but they are not to be included in these blankets. Now, how I came about doing this is I knew I was getting that big happy mail from Yarny Fairy Godmother of an ice haul, and all the ice, I think like 98% of the ice that I have in my stash has been sent to me from Yarny Fairy Godmother. I knew I had absolute boatloads of it. So I wanted to try and use some of it up before the new ice came in. Now, I pulled it off my shelves and it has been in a bag, but I quickly filled my shelves again when the new ice order came in. But that's absolutely fine. But I thought, get rid of some of the older stash to make way for the new stash. So this is just literally to try and use as much of the yarn I have in my collection as possible. Also to benefit the babies on the military unit that Christina is supporting. And yeah, just having some fun because I really like the square design that I have picked to use. Oh no, bear with me. I have to reach off camera. I dropped something. 2 packs of hearts down. I saved them, and it's a good job that they're wrapped in their plastic bags because it will mean that they won't get dirty. So they're fine. They're absolutely fine. Okay, so I am just going to pull up YouTube. Hopefully, I'm not going to bring up the sound because I need to tell you where I got the tutorial for the squares. I did use an online tutorial. And I will, of course, link the pattern for these squares that I'm going to show you. I'll link the tutorial down in the description box. So if you want to have a go at making them, then it's easy. Click on link. And you will also be shocked. Not only is joining squares not my favourite, these squares contain a stitch that I'm not too keen on as well. Must have been having a mad day or 2 because I did this to myself, guys. I did this to myself. Now, the stitch I'm talking about is the puff stitch. Yes, you heard me, the puff stitch. I'm making multiple squares using the puff stitch. So the square tutorial pattern that I did use was the very easy granny square crochet pattern, and it is by Just Crochet Art. So let's actually show you some of these squares. Now I did pick 5 different baby colours from my stash to make these squares out of. Some of the hearts that I have shown you, the leftover scraps from the squares, I've turned into hearts. So it's all been given to charity and it's all being used up. But here we go. So I started off with this minty green. Not a true colour representation by my camera. It's much nicer and proper baby minty green. And I made 1, 2, they need blocking, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 4 extra that I was mentioning have been sent elsewhere. So here is this square. Now it's quite hard to show you because they do need blocking. Haven't got that far yet, guys. So they are a little bit ruffly and, you know, going a bit crazy, but you can get the general idea of the design. It is a cross across the square of those beautiful puff stitches with a puff stitch center as well. So that is the design that I picked. So 6 in the minty green. And then the next colour is this gorgeous lilac-y lavender. And I managed to get, they're upside down, I managed to get 1, 2, they're crumpled from being in my bag as well, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I've got 10 in the lilac-y lavender. Now, I didn't use the white ice that I had because that is still in with my Christmas makes that I haven't finished. So I actually pulled some different white from my stash. It's looking quite creamy in this light, but it is definitely white, guys. And it is from the Knitting Network, and it's the Emu DK, I think. I'll look at the yarn bands in a second. So in the white, I got 1. These are really crumpled, sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the white. Then I have started this colour, baby pink, of course. I have at least another 3 that I want to make, but I haven't made them yet. So I actually have 7, but I will count them for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, no, I'm lying to you. I have 6. So I need to make 4 more at least of the pink. And I do have this much of this skein. And I have a full skein as well. So I will definitely get the 4 needed out of this. And any scraps, I will of course make more hearts for Hearts Healing Hearts. And then the 5th colour that I chose, which I haven't started making squares out of yet, is this gorgeous baby blue. So this is going to be the colour palette for the blanket. Not necessarily in this order, but just so that you can see all the colours together. Really baby friendly. that is the colour palette that I chose. Now, for the blue, the pink, the lavender and the mint, I've been using the Softly Baby from Ice. That's just the number for the blue, but it is Softly Baby. Excuse me if you can hear my tummy rumbling. I am super hungry. So for the Softly Baby, and remember, Ice don't give you that much information. It's so soft though, guys. It's perfect for these baby blankets. Softly Baby, 50% acrylic, 50% polyamide. They are 100-gram balls. They have 210 meters, so I reckon, 220 yards-ish. Recommends a 4mm needles. There's no hook recommendation. It is a lightweight 3 or a DK. Do not bleach, do not iron, wash up to 30 degrees, made in Turkey. That is literally all it says on the yarn band. So obviously, when I get back to it, I will finish off the pink ones and I will make the blue ones and then I'll put them all together. So hopefully by the end of February, because again, I'm not putting too much stress or pressure on myself, hopefully by the end of February, I will have 2 finished blankets to send to Christina for her to give to the military unit. That will mean that if it is by the end of Feb, I will have got 1 blanket done for January and 1 blanket done for February. Isn't it just all lining up so lovely? So let me just pop that back. And then in this Notions pouch, it tells me that I was using my 5mm dots hook. And so far, now I'm not going to put these in my finished label count until the blankets are actually put together, because technically they're not finished yet. Oh, let me tell you about the white yarn as well. So the white yarn is Emu Classic DK, 100 grams. It's just in the colour white. 100-gram balls, 282 meters or 308 yards, 100% premium acrylic, made in Turkey, 4mm hook, machine wash up to 40 degrees, do not iron. You can dry clean using A, tumble dry normal, do not bleach. In the colour white. But so far, guys, for these blankets, and don't forget, I've still got yarn, balls of yarn to still make squares from, so I'm not done. But at this point, let me just get it all out of my Notions pouch. At this point, I have already made squares out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's another 13 yarn labels, guys. So, but like I said, I'm going to wait until I've finished up the other skeins left to crochet up. Then when I'll probably show these in next month's charity donation roundup, possibly. But if not, I will definitely show them in a crochet catch-up. Because by that point, Max's Gut Choice will have finished and the crochet catch-ups will have restarted. But by my calculations, if this is 13, 14, 15, I might have 19 yarn labels when these blankets are finished. Loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. 12, 16. Yeah. So that would have been 16 balls of ice and 3 balls of the emu when I am done, but I'm not done yet, so they're going back in here. I'm not putting them in my yarn label collection. I am just gonna put the they've all fallen. Just gonna put the 9 where the projects are actually complete. These are gonna go in my yarn label total. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to throw one at you. My goodness gracious. So 9 this time. potentially 19 next time, and whatever else I complete. So excited. So excited. I am working hard. Working hard. And I am so far completing that goal of concentrating on more charitable donations this year. So it ticks all the boxes. I could not be any happier with this charity donation roundup video. It's not possible to be any happier than I already am. So that is it for today. My gosh, I've already kept you for 35 minutes. Thank you so much. And yesterday, Manfa was naughty. She should have picked the winner for the pattern giveaway, and she did not. So, as you guys across the pond say, I'm a day late and $1 short. Not surprising. So I am going to do that draw now. So I hope you have made it to the end of this video so that you get to know whether you have won or not. So for the January pattern giveaway, the keyword was lobster. Those are the people that entered for this month. I will leave it there a few more seconds so that you can see what number you are. And then I better get my glasses and my flapper. See, I'm not prepared. I'm not a professional. But they are just here out of sight. Better get my glasses on. There we go. And I've got to remember to be super gentle with this one. So it is between 1 and 18. So let me get the person who lives in here as well. Hey Siri. Please pick a random number between 1 and 18. Number 10. Who is number 10? Let me see. Number 10 is Susan Romanelli. Woohoo! Ready? Yay, Susan! Congratulations! Woohoo! If you could all congratulate Susan down in the comment section, I really would appreciate it. Susan, you need to email me, my lovely, and let me know what your Ravelry account name is and which pattern or patterns that you would like to be gifted from me, up to the value of 10 Great British Pounds. If you can, or as close to it as possible. It could be one pattern, it could be a couple of patterns. It's up to you how savvy you are with my money. Yeah, so as soon as I get your email with the patterns that you want and the Ravelry account to send them to you, that is exactly what I'm going to do. So yay! Now I am going to be doing a pattern giveaway every month, so don't lose hope. If you didn't win, there will be another chance next month and throughout the year long. So Susan, go get over to Ravelry, pick those patterns, let me know, and I'll send them to you as soon as possible. Right, I really am gonna go now guys. Just quickly though, what is coming up tomorrow is something different, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So if you're intrigued, come back tomorrow. Anyway, until then, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one or around the YouTube streets. Bye, guys. Love you, love.